So what happens when you buy $1,300 HREs off Craigslist? What's up, car friends? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Wheelie Cool Videos, the show about modified cars based in Southern California with your host, Stu.
And I'm Idris. As always, I want to thank our producers, Matt and Chris, as well as Phoenix Studios for the support and the help.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
This episode, we're talking about how to buy used wheels online.
Yep, something that we've both done several times.
Yes.
Either multi-piece wheels, single-piece wheels.
Yep. And we've had sometimes a lot of
wheels.
success
Yep.
and some not so much
some
success.
hiccups, some hiccups. So we've learned a lot over the years that
Yep.
we've done that. And we wanted to really make this small tutorial, a small advice episode to where we can have people go out and buy a set of nice used wheels as opposed to going out and buying a set of replica new wheels for $500-$600. Spend a little extra money, get yourself a nice set of used wheels.
Yep. They're out there.
They're out
they
there.
exist.
You just have to look.
Replicas are horrible. They're cheap. They bend. They break. The finish is crap. So it's better off just to do it right the first time.
First, as always, we want to talk about a really cool find
Yep.
that we find on the internet every episode. We have something that we find on the internet that grabs our attention.
That's right.
And this episode, this
Yep.
week, what do we have?
This dude's name is Eric Dietz, and we're going to cover his Audi R8. I've been following this guy on Instagram for a while. He's from SoCal, up in LA area, and he has a Nardo Gray Audi R8 V8 manual. It's actually the last Audi R8 manual that the Audi factory made.
Wow. Very cool.
Not in U.S., just in general. It's the
last one rolled
manual
out.
R8 out of the Audi factory ever.
That's incredible. And it ends up in LA.
It ends up in LA, and it ends up being a custom Nardo Gray, exclusive color. And they actually sent him like a plaque before Christmas time, or a big poster saying like last Audi R8 manual. Which shout out to Audi
for doing something
taking
like
care
that.
of your customers like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And man, this car is awesome.
Yep.
So it's a manual R8, super cool, gated shifter, 2015, and he's already modded it. He has some lowering springs, I think, from GMG, which is a local tuner here in Southern California. Also has a rear roll bar, harness bar, and the 5-point harnesses that attach to that bar, so he can take it to the track day.
So he's already modded it quite a bit.
A little bit, yeah. And his most recent mod, he got a set of HRE P101 black wheels, which just set the car off.
Yeah.
And I love it. He bought the car, modded it a little bit, enjoyed it, tracked it, and it took him a while, but not a while, little bit before he put some wheels on it.
Yeah.
So he enjoyed the stages of the car, which is something that I like to do as well. Not just buy the car and mod it till it's done. You get bored of it much quicker when you do that.
Yeah.
But he spaced his mods out. I think he's like almost on his third set of tires. He takes it to the track all the time and just hoons it around and fully enjoys that freaking supercar.
Definitely.
He takes a lot of good pictures. He drives. I think he actually might even daily drive this car. I love that he tracks it. Just using the car like a car and getting the most out of all the money he spent on it and enjoying it to the fullest. Shout out to Eric. I love your car. I love following you.
Be sure to check out future episodes. We'll see if we can get Eric on the show.
That's the goal. We're going to try and get some real coverage of that thing.
That'd be awesome. Yeah. So yeah, like I said earlier, we do tend to get bored at times. One thing that we can easily do when we get bored, instead of going through cars, I like to go through wheels.
Throw some rims on it.
I like to go through wheels. Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to give you some tips on where to start to look, what to look for when you're buying to make sure they're not messed up, and kind of really the whole process. So if you were going to look for wheels, where would you start?
Search forums.
Search the forums?
I search forums to find out what will fit, because a lot of the wheel game nowadays is fitment.
Yeah.
And millimeters make that difference.
For
Tire
sure.
size makes the difference.
Yep.
Tire brand makes the difference.
Yep. To get that perfect fitment, there's lots of things that come into play. The diameter of the wheel,
It is,
the
yeah.
width of the
The
wheel,
width,
the
the
offset.
Yep.
Like you said, the size of the tire, but not just the size, the brand and model of the tire
Yep.
really has a lot to determine how square the sidewall is, how much it's going to stretch on that wheel. So you really got to look at these things when you're speccing out what you want and how you want it to fit. So to make it, when you get it on your car, you get the best possible outcome.
100%.
So if you search their classifieds, a lot of the times you'll see a guy with your exact car selling his old wheels.
And that's something that people always want to see is an example
Yeah.
to make sure this is how I know it's going to fit.
And you got to keep in mind, even though these guys are owners or enthusiasts and they tell you one thing, you got to take it sometimes with a grain of salt, because they're not a car like a wheel shop. They really have no requirement to be 100% honest with you. There are just
Also
a
true.
guy who is trying to sell his wheels. So sometimes
true, yeah.
the information they give you might not be 100% accurate, or a little bit exaggerated. Like, is there rubbing? No. Well, what does he consider rubbing?
Exactly, yeah.
He
Has
might-
he driven his car
Right.
hard enough to where he would experience that
Right.
rubbing?
There's no
or,
rubbing as long as I don't turn.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So you want to look for things like, have the owner send you detailed pictures of the front and back of each wheel and close-ups of each tire. So you can look for rubbing marks on the tire. You can look for bends. Cracks
Any
are
rashes.
really
Cracks are
hard
kinda
to
difficult
see.
to see, yeah.
They're like hairline. You're pretty much not going to see a crack, even
Not
in
with
person.
the naked eye. Not even if you had the wheel in front of you. I have seen cracks that have been
Yeah.
almost nothing. You can't. It looks like a scratch on the
Exactly.
wheel, on the barrel of the wheel.
Exactly. So the inspiration for this episode really came from my new HRE wheels my new used HRE wheels that I bought off Craigslist. I paid $1,300 for these wheels for a set. So what happens when you buy $1,300 HREs off Craigslist? Well,
Right,
the
a
answer
couple
is,
hiccups, yeah.
yep. The owner told me they hold air. The finish, they were full chrome face, chrome
were,
lips. And I wasn't a fan of the chrome, but at the same time, I was like, they look good enough to run. So I'm just going to throw tires on them and run them as is for a while.
Yep.
Owner said many times, they hold air, they run great, they're straight, they're true. If I was you, I would just throw tires on them and run them like this. So I was like, okay, good idea. That's what I did. They didn't hold air. They're HRE wheels. So HRE is in San Diego, less than an hour from my house. So I was like, let me contact HRE, see how much they will charge me to refinish my wheels. Called them up, very nice people, but they quoted me $800 per wheel to refinish them.
My goodness,
That's-
new wheel prices.
That's not any
Not
new
HREs,
hardware.
but
That's
yeah.
like no new lips, barrels, or anything. That's just take them apart, finish them, put them back together, boom. It did include new center caps. They said they'd throw those in for me, which are $100. So 800 times 4, that's $3,200. Call it $3,100 because they give you free center caps. $3,100 to refinish my wheels that I just paid $1,300. So that's like $4,500.
Yeah.
I could literally buy a brand new set of 1552 three-piece wheels for that.
Yep.
So I wasn't going to go that route. That was way out of my price limit. My wife would have freaked out if I told her that I was about to drop $3,000 on refinishing these $1,000 wheels that we just bought. And I'm glad I didn't, because had I done that, when I got my wheels back from the finisher, I only paid $600 for all 4 to get them redone. When I got them back, though, 2 of them still didn't hold air.
Oh my goodness, what a headache.
So now at this point, I'm like $1,900 in, and I still don't have tires to drive on. At the time, I only thought one was leaking. So I identified where it was leaking. With your help, we pumped the tire with air, sprayed water all over it, and just looked for bubbles.
Watch for bubbles.
Which
Yeah,
shout out to you.
exactly.
Thank you for
Yeah, of course,
helping me
little
because I was freaking out. I was about to just
Definitely do
throw
that
him down
if
the
you-
street, let him roll.
But
But he's
if
like,
you
no,
ever
no,
find
no.
a leak or something, you
Let's
can
look
always
for
do
the
that
leak.
little trick.
So we found the leak. It looked like they were coming from the bolts.
Yeah.
But it was actually coming from the lip. There was a hairline crack on the lip on the back side. Would have never been able to see it.
It literally looked like a scratch.
It looked like a scratch.
You couldn't even tell. You can't
no.
tell with the naked eye.
Right, especially with a wheel that has any amount of dirt on it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a brand
Oh,
new
100%,
lip,
yeah.
you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
So I took it back to the shop. He said, yeah, it's cracked lip. Cool, $200 for a new lip. Okay, no problem. Fixed it. Got it back. At that time, I realized that another one of the wheels had a slow leak. Slow leak, though. So I didn't notice it right away, which bummed me out because now I was trying to put them on the car, and I realized one of the tires is flat. I'm like, damn it.
That's one of the worst feelings ever when you're trying to get wheels on a car and they just won't go on. It just won't work.
Jared, don't say that. Taryn, that's a bad word.
It's okay.
So I'm like, all right, looks like I got another leak. Let's pump it up with air, spray it with water, found the leak, taped it, marked it for the wheel shop, took it back to the wheel shop. Actually, I'm sorry, I took it back to the tire shop, had it dismounted, then took it to the wheel shop. And it's like, hey, Antonio, here it is. This one's got a leak right here. He's like, oh, okay, found it. He ground it all down, found the crack. He's like, all right, you got another cracked lip,
Yeah.
$200, cool, fixed it. So then I got it back, and it was all good.
I be the one rapping like I'm not new to this. Roll through your block, you stir the piece like I'm ludicrous. Stay true to this, I'm ruling this. Other niggas ain't even doing shit. I should work at UPS the way I be moving shit.
Looks phenomenal rolling.
West LA is where I picked up my bad habits.
The story ends
They look
happy.
great.
I've
yeah.
been running them
You're
for
still
a
far
couple
under
months.
The
Yeah.
price that you would pay
Exactly.
for a set of new
So I paid
lead.
$1,300 for the wheels, $600 to get them redone, $400 for new lips. So that's $2,300 all in for basically at this point a brand new set of HREs.
Basically, yeah, 20-inch HREs.
20s.
Really nice.
Yeah,
19-inch face. Yeah.
Step lip.
Step lip.
So
It
I'm
was- yeah, it was
happy,
Really good.
but it took a little longer
Yeah.
and had some more emotional up and downs. But that's what we're trying to protect you guys from.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if the wheel's cracked, you're not going to be able to see it. So if the wheels don't have tires on them, if somebody's selling just wheels by themselves, there's essentially no way for you to guarantee that they will hold air. They can be cracked, they can be bent.
They can be bent.
And you can't see them. A bend you'll find when they try and do like a balance, they'll find that they're not able to be balanced properly. So it's also a good idea to maybe meet at a tire shop, just to have them check it out and put it on like if possible a road force balancing wheel balancer to get the true balance out of the wheel and see if they can find any issues with them.
Things that I like to search on Craigslist, the way that you buy a wheel, I search all sorts of things. You go under Craigslist actually has a wheel and tire section specifically now.
Oh, nice.
It's no longer just all in auto parts.
I thought it was just auto parts.
It is now Craigslist
nice.
wheel and tire specific section when
That's
you click
dope.
on the auto parts. And what I like to search is bolt pattern always.
So just like 5X 1112 or
Exactly.
something like that.
For me, it's 5 by 112 or 5X 1112 or 112. I also like to search things like Audi wheels, Mercedes wheels, Volkswagen wheels. I'll also do rims because
Rims.
not everybody uses the word wheels.
Rims?
Yeah, rims. Yeah, you want to buy my rims? Yeah, I got you. You want
Yeah.
to sell me your Workmeister Audi rims for
Yeah.
$1,100?
Yeah.
I'll come pick them up, which is something exactly what I did.
Nice.
So yeah, you can always find good deals on Craigslist.
Yeah, and Craigslist is cool. There's really good deals there, but you got to be careful because there's no like seller ratings. Forums and eBay, if the seller lies and messes up, there is going to be some kind of recourse.
Yeah.
So you really just want to talk to the owner as much as possible. Start a PM conversation, maybe ask for his phone number or his email and start up
Yeah.
a dialogue.
You want to get as much information about
Yep.
the
Talk
wheels
to the
as you
dude. Get a
can.
feeling for the guy. How long has he run them? Make sure he's ran the wheels for at least 500 miles. If he hasn't had them for 500 miles, then anything he says is just a question mark.
Yeah. The cool part is, even if you look at multi-piece wheels, if you look at two-piece, three-piece, two-piece can be a little bit more difficult, but three-piece if there are any issues like yours had a crack in the lip, you just have to replace the lip. It's not like the wheels are done. If it was a single piece wheel, that's it.
Right.
You got to buy a whole other
My
wheel.
lips were $200 to replace.
Exactly, yeah.
It was like a 2-day turnaround. I mean, it helps being in Southern California.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was quick. It was easy. It was only an extra $200, so it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, it gives you some flexibility. With the one piece, you might want to check to make sure they still make the wheels, just in case the worst happens and they're bent and they're
replace or
they're not fixable.
Yeah, because there's so many
used wheels,
and just people in general have bought so many new wheels that are constantly changing.
Yeah,
and so they sell their almost new wheels that they've ran for 6 months for half the price.
Boom.
And boom.
And that's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's a good deal, and that's how you look like a baller without running reps. Because I think I paid $1,500 maybe max for my RSs with tires. You can't even get a set of reps with tires for $1,500.
No, you can't.
Or just $1,500. So
yeah.
I've seen people with like ESM replica BBS RSs, and I've told them like, yo man, just look on the forums and be patient, and you'll find the real thing for that price or less. You just need to be patient and keep your eyes open.
Anyways,
that's our recommendations for buying used wheels. Don't be afraid to do it. Just do your homework, do your research.
You can find some really good deals out there.
That's right. And make the car look fresh.
Don't go buy reps. Buy some very nice stuff. Used wheels.
Yeah. So speaking of good deals and value for money, that brings us to this week's Wheelie Cool for sale, which is an Aston Martin Vantage V8. It's got 30,000 miles on it. It's a 2006?
I believe 2006, yeah.
And it's $50,000.
Crazy.
How are you going to buy an Aston Martin V8 Vantage for $50,000?
I see this car on the road. I think James Bond, 007, couple $100,000 immediately. I had no idea that these cars were going for $50,000.
And this is not just like some random deal we found. This is like current market value on an Aston Martin V8 Vantage is $50,000.
Yeah.
It's super clean, super good condition, low mileage.
$50,000.
You can pull so many chicks in this car.
You can.
If you roll up to a chick in this car, she will be getting in if you got some game to go along with the car.
To go along with the car, yeah. You can't.
But what other car can you get that's going to have this type of curb appeal? And
nothing.
I mean, Aston Martins are rare in general. Even like Newport. At the beach area, Southern California, you don't might be afraid of the maintenance cost of this car.
That's the one thing
I wouldn't want to buy it and put 15,000 miles a year on it. But if you have this car, it's probably not your daily driver. For a weekend fun car.
$50,000. That's a great weekend car.
Wow, what a car! Maybe put an exhaust on it; it'll sound like the shit.
Yep.
It's undoubtedly a supercar.
It is.
It's so rare. You just don't see him.
No,
it's James Bond, bro.
It is.
You're James Bond if you're pulling up in the Aston Martin.
Yeah.
You can just change your name to James. So anybody's looking for a sweet car, $50,000.
Aston Martin Vantage.
I don't think you can touch it. Curb appeal.
It's crazy.
Fresh.
Yeah.
$50,000. That's basically what my TTRS is worth.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
What a deal. And it sounds good, it looks good, it drives good, it's a manual. It's not super fast. You're not going to be winning any drag races. I'll smoke you in my TTRS. I hate to say it. But you'll pick up way more chicks.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel like it, yeah. Aston Martin, yeah.
All right. So that's all for this week's episode of Wheelie Cool Videos. As always, if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also check out the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Wheelie_cool. And until next time, guys, have a Wheelie Cool day.